Today, we're getting into something really practical, how to actually master a language, specifically English. We're basing this deep dive on some really insightful bits from Mastering English, Conversation, Vocabulary, and Practice. It's aimed at boosting English skills, obviously, but we want to look under the hood, you know?
Yeah, our mission here is to figure out how this material claims to help you learn vocabulary faster, get better at listening and pronunciation, and just, improve your speaking quickly. It's really about understanding the method, the strategy they're using for learning.
Exactly. And what I find fascinating about this source is it's not just dumping information on you. It's set up as a very structured, interactive way to learn. It actually says it's designed to train your brain to speak English fluently. And it does that by breaking down this big, scary thing, learning a language, into smaller, doable, repeatable steps. It really builds on solid learning ideas like repetition and actually using the information. Okay, so how does that actually work? How do they turn those ideas into something you can, do? Well, the source lays out this core 4-part exercise. It seems really focused on improving speaking. It goes, part 1, listening practice. Then part 2, vocabulary. After that, part 3 is listen and answer practice. And it finishes with part 4, shadowing practice.
Right. It's a logical flow. It starts with just soaking it in, that immersive listening. Part 1, they call it English listening practice. The idea is you, the learner, just focus on understanding what's being said in a conversation between native English speakers. The goal is simple: help you understand real-life conversations better. It's about tuning your ear first.
And they give you a concrete example right away. This conversation between Sally and Mike. It's super normal, everyday stuff. Mike's tired after class, wants a coffee break. Sally's bus is late, so she figures, okay, she'll join him. It kind of reminds you how even simple chats can feel challenging when you're starting out. They even mention, Sally likes tea every morning, Mike's a coffee guy, 2 cups a day. Little details.
Yeah, it makes it relatable. And that conversation naturally brings up a really common problem for learners. Mike and Sally themselves say new words are hard, but importantly, they also say we can learn them.
Yeah.
Which then leads them to decide, okay, let's study later at the library, 4 p.m. So that begs the question, right? How does this program help with those hard words they just mentioned?
Exactly. That struggle they had points right to the next step in the sources method. Part 2, learn vocabulary. And what's neat is it doesn't just give you a random list. It takes words and phrases straight from that Sally and Mike conversation you just heard. And then it breaks them down so you get what they mean in context. It feels very targeted.
Yeah. And the examples are really clear. Like, it explains it doesn't matter. Meaning, it's not a problem or it's okay. The example they give is perfect. Someone says, sorry, I'm late. And the reply is, it doesn't matter. I just got here. Makes sense. Or, it's very kind of you. That means you are very nice. Or thanks for helping. The example is, I can carry your bag. And the response, thank you. It's very kind of you. Simple, practical. And then there's deal. Just means, yes, I agree. Let's do it. There's example. You help me today and I help you tomorrow. Answer, deal. It's very direct.
And here's what I thought was really smart. Those exact phrases pop right back up in the Sally and Mike story later. Like, Mike forgets his wallet classic move and Sally offers to buy his tea. So Mike says, wow, it's very kind of you again. See, using the phrase. And Sally says, it doesn't matter, Mike. You can pay next time. There's another one. And that leads them to make their study plan, their deal. So you see the words used naturally. Almost immediately after learning them, it really reinforces it.
Absolutely. That practical application is key. And then it shifts gears into more active practice. Part 3 is called listen and answer practice. Here, you're told to listen carefully to the questions. Then, and this is important, try to answer them out loud. Then you check the correct answers. And the source really pushes you. Repeat this exercise every day until you can say the answers quickly and confidently. The aim is clear. Boost your speaking and listening skills. It's about training that quick recall you need in actual conversation. It forces your brain to retrieve, not just recognize.
Right. Building on that active work, part 4 introduces something called shadowing practice. The way they explain it is you hear one person's line from the conversation, you listen closely, then you say it out loud right after them, mimicking them. Then you read the other person's line yourself. So you're basically acting out both sides of the dialogue. I guess the idea is to get the rhythm and flow, not just the words.
Exactly. That's the core benefit of shadowing. It's really good for fluency and pronunciation. The Force claims it helps you speak more clearly, naturally, and with confidence because you're copying native rhythm, intonation, how the words connect. It's not just repeating isolated words. And again, the instruction is repeat this practice often. All these parts, when you look at them together, really hammer home that core idea. Repetition is very important to become fluent in English. But it's smart repetition, deliberate practice.
So pulling it all together, what we're seeing is a really thought-through, structured way to tackle language learning. It goes from listening foundation to targeted vocabulary, then active practice, both answering and speaking. And it all seems built on that principle of repetition, making sure it sticks.
That's the takeaway. The source itself sums it up pretty directly. The best way to improve your English speaking skills is to watch this video many times. The more you repeat, the better you will speak. Obviously they mean active, focused repetition, like we discussed, not just having it on in the background. But yeah, repetition is the engine here.
Okay, so that's the method laid out in this source. Breaking skills down, practicing the parts, lots of repetition. It makes me wonder, and maybe something for you listening to think about, could you take these exact principles, breaking down a skill, targeted practice on components, deliberate repetition, and apply them to master something else entirely? Anything you're trying to learn or get better at, not just language, what would those component parts be, and how could you build your own practice like this? Something to chew on.